Hello, algebra students. Here's your next flipped lesson. This one is on solving multi-step equations, and for some reason these give kids fits. They can't stand it when there's x's on both sides of the equation. It's really a simple problem. The first thing you do is ask yourself, what bothers you about equation number 1? It probably bothers you that there are x's here and x's here, right? Well, let's take away one of those x's. We can't throw it away, but we certainly can take it away. But if I do it to the right-hand side, I have to do it to the left-hand side. Now watch as I take away the 3x from both sides. I end up with 2x plus 8. That equals a negative 4. Now it looks like the problems from last night's video. It's real simple after this point. I'll subtract 8 from both sides. I'll end up with 2x equals negative 12, divide by 2, and x will equal negative 6. And there you go. Now to check this one, I would do 5 times negative 6 plus 8, and see if that's the same as 3 times negative 6 minus 4. Oops, unnecessary parenthesis there. Ooh, I lost the whole thing. 3 equals 3 times negative 6 minus 4. Well, I know that 5 times negative 6 is negative 30, plus 8 is negative 22, I believe. This is negative 18 minus 4, negative 22, and you see it checks. All right, let's go over here. Now, you don't have to get rid of the negative 4x if you don't want to. You could get rid of the negative 3x. My advice to you is always get rid of the smaller one. To get rid of the smaller one, a lot of times your variable will end up with a positive coefficient, meaning the number in front of the variable. Well, in this case, negative 4 is less than negative 3, so I'll add 4x to each side. My new equation becomes x plus 2 equal to 5, and now it's just a one-step equation. Subtract 2 from each side, x will equal 3, and there you go. All right, problems 3 and 4. I may not have given myself enough room to do them. Let me scoot those down a little bit. All right, problem number 3. Again, I've got x's on both sides. I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and some of you are going to get freaked out here. What we have is we have 2/5 x minus 1 whole. Well, can you write 1 whole as a number of fifths? Well, you could write it as 5/5, right? In which case your answer is going to become negative 3/5 x. Now, that's one really good way to do it. I'm going to talk about it a different way. Okay, I'm going to remember that 3 minus 2 is almost the same problem as 2 minus 3. The difference is the top one's positive and the bottom one's negative, right? So keeping that in mind, I'm going to think about this problem as 1 minus 2/5. If I take away 2/5 from 1, what do I have left? Well, let's see here. Let's say I have a pie cut into fifths, and I eat 2 pieces of that pie. What fraction of the pie is left? 3/5. 1 minus 2/5 must be 3/5. I really expect you guys to be able to do this. So I get 3/5 here. Okay, but it actually will be a negative 3/5 because it's negative 1 plus 2/5, right? Okay, so that being said, let me come up here. My new equation will be negative 3/5. Oops, switched out of draw mode there. 3/5 x plus 3 equals negative 4. Okay, I'll subtract 3 from each side, and I'll have negative 3/5 x equal to negative 7. Now, to undo this fraction, I could divide both sides by negative 3/5, which is a smart thing to do. By the way, my answer is going to have to be positive, right? Because the two negatives will cancel. But I know this division problem is really negative 7 over 1 times negative 5, oops, over 3, right? Because when I'm dividing by a fraction, I'm multiplying by the reciprocal. So x is going to end up equaling 35 over 3. Now, if it was 36 over 3, my answer would be 12, right? So I'm going to get a mixed number of 11, and I'm 1/3 short of 12. So I'm going to get 2/3, 11 and 2/3. Either one of these answers is good. I expect you to know how to convert them. If you don't, please come see me at one of my help sessions or at lunch or something like that. I would love to help you out. Okay, now problem number 4 kind of changes the scene a little bit. Okay, some of you are going to want to subtract 1 first. You can't. That is not a 1. Does anybody know what it is? I'll give you a hint. It's a 1/2 because 2 is going into that 1. This is not a 7. It's a 7/2 or a 7 over 2. This 2 is keeping the problem from being able to be done the way we normally want it to. Let's get rid of it. How do we get rid of it? Well, how is the 2 attached to the 7x plus 1? By division. So I'm going to multiply. But if I multiply the left-hand side by 2, I have to multiply the right-hand side by 2. Okay, I'm doubling the left-hand side so the fraction disappears. Then I have to double the right-hand side. That's all I'm doing. So these will cancel, leaving me with 7x plus 1, and that'll equal 10. Subtract 1 from each side. I'll get 7x equals 9. Divide by 7. Divide by 7. X will equal 9/7. Or 7 goes into 9 one time. There's 2 left over. Divided by 7. Either one of those answers is good. Okay, let's see here. 2 more examples. Yeah, I expect you to know how to do these things. If you don't know, you got to come in and see me. These are skills you should have already mastered. I don't have time to teach whole lessons on them. All right, this 4 is keeping everything from being free, right? So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 4 over 1, and actually just by 4 on the right-hand side, but it's the same thing. The 4's will cancel. All right, I'll be left with a negative 3x plus 2, and that'll equal 20. And now it's just a 2-step equation. I'll subtract 2 from both sides, and I'll end up with negative 3x equals 18. And then, of course, I'll divide by negative 3 on both sides. X should equal negative 6. And there you go. All right, one more example, and then we're going to wrap up this video. This one right here, the 7 is bogging things down. I'm going to multiply both sides of the fraction by some form of 7. On the left-hand side, the 7's will cancel. 6 minus 5x will end up equaling 56. Now we just have a 2-step equation. I'll subtract 6 from both sides. I'll get negative 5x, which will equal 50. Divide by negative 5. X equals negative 10. And bam, I am done. All right, Mr. Lawrence out.